find a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 383. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe, trying to get our remote control to work.
I know you were.
On YouTube, see me making a face at it. What the hell, remote control? And then I'm like, oh, when did I change the batteries on this? Oh, probably around episode 100.
You fight that thing every week.
I'm fighting it more and more lately. I think it's a teenager now.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. Oh, don't get me started on Brian.
He's 20 though.
I know.
That makes it worse, not better.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So before we dig into things, we should remind people we're going to be in New York in 2 weeks.
I know.
Only 2 weeks until you have to run 26 point something miles. 0.2. And
not 1 point more than that. I wish.
There's just a car waiting for you at the finish line that you can collapse into.
That would be great.
You've already scheduled an Uber. Could
you do that for me, Tom? I know that's not true. I know if people are listening and they've done the race before, that's not true. It takes like another mile to get out of the village.
That last village mile should count.
It should. They should run you through the village. That's how it should work, but it's not.
Like a Viking soldier.
It would kind of be hard to do the security that they do if they did it that way.
You'd be a Viking soldier.
Right.
Nobody wants to take on one of those.
Anyway, our meetup is happening.
Oh, yeah. I was like replaying Hagar the Horrible cartoons.
I know. You went a whole different way.
I was already off a whole other thing. So we're doing a meetup.
Come back here, Tom.
While we're in New York.
We are. November 1st.
I'll be wearing a Hagar. I'll be the one in the Hagar the Horrible costume.
Do not tempt me. Yes, we are having an event on November 1st. It is going to be held at Copper Still in Chelsea. So if you're interested in going, we do need to get the numbers together for people that are running it.
You can't just show up. You got to let us know.
You do have to let us know. It has occurred to me through conversations this week that people did not realize that you have to sign up, you have to pay, and then you can come. We'd love to see you though.
Yeah. And just to be clear, that money goes to the bar,
not us,
for the food. This is not a profit making scheme
not
on behalf of the Clip Out.
No, we are very clear when we are doing that.
Yes,
that is our Patreon.
Yeah.
But no, this all goes to the Copper Still for their food, and there will be a cash bar, so you can have all the drinks you want. And we'd love to see you. And I don't want to promise anything, but I've talked to some guests that might be coming that are special guests that I'm pretty excited about.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You never know.
But
you're all special guests to me. Not to Tom, but to me.
Oh, I thought you meant I wasn't special.
You are special too.
Yeah, I know how you mean that. I know. So we would love to see you.
We would. If you...
I was promised chicken tenders. So
yes, there will be chicken tenders. And so you can email me at clipoutcrystal@gmail.com if you want to go. You can also DM me on Facebook or Instagram. So all kinds of ways to get a hold of me.
I'll slide into your DMs. Be like old times.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we get to see you. How fun. What a wonderful opportunity for people to have a chicken tender with me.
That's so true. So true.
What exciting.
I mean, that is going to be the highlight of the weekend, having a chicken tender with Tom. Yes, absolutely.
We talked last week about can the bike and or the tread do metric?
Yes.
And Trish Lalonde,
who is Canadian,
our roving Canadian reporter.
She's all over.
Well, Canada's there's probably like a roving Canadian reporter because they do all that backwards.
You think?
Like we rove, they roove.
Okay.
Just like we're about, they're a boot.
A boot.
So
sorry.
Our roving Canadian reporter has confirmed that the bike and the tread can both display metric.
Yes.
So
you can choose.
Yes.
So I don't know what's up with the row and why they don't have.
I think, like you said, it's just because that's how row stuff is always measured.
Yeah, I know. But then why can't they flip it into miles? Because that was what we.
Yeah, you
we
think
thought,
it'd just be a software thing, but
Right.
like they just maybe just never thought of it because it's just not the way rowing works.
It's also possible they just haven't made the classes, because the whole thing that started this conversation was that they had these new classes that you
Right.
could do, and that maybe that was why. So I don't know.
Well, now that we've done all the house cleaning,
Got the duster.
yes, like around our home, I had to do all the house cleaning.
Oh my God. Wow, that's just a blatant lie. Just bold-faced.
So now that I am done with the house cleaning, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Oh my gosh. That's going to take a minute to... I have to collect myself, my composure after that lie. That
Well,
was such an intense lie.
Well, I guess we can pause here and pick back up once you've comported yourself. Okay, we've picked back up. There was a major edit there, but while you were done, I cleaned the bathrooms. But we're now back.
Oh my God.
If I smell like bleach, that's why. I apologize, listeners. But now that you've composed yourself, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
That time I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. Okay, so we have our guest this week is Sara Confino, an amazing author.
Author extraordinaire.
Yes, I love her books. And she is also a Peloton user.
Yes.
She loves the Peloton. We have a lovely conversation about both. So people should join us and enjoy Sara Confino. She is funny.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
She is. Also, we are going to be talking about this new restocking fee that Peloton has decided to add. We are going to be talking about ways to save money with Peloton, and they have teamed up with TrueMed. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
There is a store opening.
What?
I know.
Like a Peloton store.
Right.
Where they sell Pelotons.
Correct.
In a store.
Right.
That's physical.
Yes.
That exists in this plane of reality.
That's the one.
With bikes and treads and rows.
Yes.
And one guide.
Well, and apparel, hopefully.
One dusty guide.
We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Peloton's newest partnership with Girl Tech. This fun challenge coming up with the Watt brothers, which is hilarious and probably the best thing they've ever done organically through social media. So my hat tip to them.
Okay.
Then we've got the new Hyatt's Point partnership. There's also the quick hits we're going to talk about. Instructors have lots of news. We've got some Jocelyn news. We've got Leanne Hainsby news. It's actually a big old question mark, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Jen Sherman's got news, Bex Gentry, Ash Pryor. Not to mention, we have the latest celebrity sighting, the latest artist series. We have a past guest update and a whole bunch of content that we're going to talk about too.
Okay, well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn. Wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review because we're shallow people who need the admiration.
Yes.
It also helps the people that come along after you trying to decide if we're worth checking out. But really the first one. And you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. You can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/theclipout. This week, we're going to be talking about an instructor taking a little heat for moving to Florida. How they are responding.
Yes.
And how that might affect other things potentially, right?
Yes.
With some other instructors.
We've got some gossip about that.
And so we've got all sorts of fun things over there. So in the bonus episode on Patreon, which normally learn 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on how chatty we are. And
apparently today we are chatty.
Oh, apparently we're going to be chatty. And so for $5 a month, you can help out the show at the Patreon and you'll get a bonus episode every week. You'll get an ad-free episode sent to you. If we get it early, you get it early. So you can lord that over your friends who aren't Patreon members.
Yeah.
It's quite the badge of honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's just a way to help the show, fund the website and all the things that go into that. So it's greatly appreciated.
Yes.
So, and then of course, you can watch all of these over at YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout. And of course, sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com where we will send you the links and everything mostly weekly. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Peloton has finally found the magic bullet that will fix their financial woes. This is it. I don't know if you saw this, but the stock price is up to $85 a share based on this latest revelation.
Why are you lying like that? It's another bold-faced lie.
John Foley is returning as CEO.
It's not April.
They've rehired Stephen Little.
Wow, you are taking it deep with the bullshit.
And they announced an elliptical. All because of an apparel restocking fee.
Yeah.
This part's true.
This part actually is true. So the actual truth is that if you want to return apparel through the mail, then you are now going to be charged $9 for a restocking fee.
Wait, does that mean I can you can return it in person? Like while we're in New York, you could return your stuff?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You could just walk into the showroom and be like, give me my money back and they won't charge you a restocking fee?
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's probably mostly about shipping costs, honestly. I mean, shipping is ridiculously high.
For sure.
So I'm sure that they want to recover it.
They should call it bullshipping.
But the frustrating part about that for many people is they've closed so many showrooms.
Right.
It's ridiculous, right?
It is irritating. Like when in their thing where they're like, oh, but you can just return it to a showroom to avoid the restocking fee to one of the three.
It's actually 24, about to be 25.
Oh.
About to be 25.
We'll get to that. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Sorry, just wanted to. That's a call forward instead of a call back.
Restocking fee.
You're like B. Arthur on the Golden Girls. You start growling.
Well, that show's based on me.
So yeah, people were not happy about it because they didn't announce it. They just threw it up on their website and you don't find out till you go to return something.
Right.
And when you try to return it, it's like, how would you like to do that? Here's your $9 charge. Excuse me? Oh, and you can get charged an additional fee if you want somebody to come pick it up. So $9, yes. And $6.95 if you want somebody to come pick it up. They will pick it up from your house. Yep. You go ahead and do that math. I'll wait. So if I live in a town that doesn't have a store, who are they going to send to pick it up? A courier? I don't know. Maybe it's like, you know how when you want to return something to Amazon, you can leave out a thing. You can leave out a label or you can take it to a certain place. Maybe it's that kind of thing, but it says they will come to your house and pick it up.
Wow.
So I don't know who's doing it. But what I do know is that people are not happy about this.
Honestly, after $9 to send it back, $7 to have it picked up doesn't sound so bad.
Additional.
No, I know, but I'm just I'm like, well, I don't got to go anywhere.
Okay, but
that's appealing. That part's appealing. I'm not gonna lie. $7 to not have to.
But if it's $9, you could just stick it in the mailbox and put the flag up. Why do you have to go anywhere anyway?
I hate to put it in the mailbox and put the flag up.
Why?
Because then I feel like I'm supposed to tip the mailman or something.
Why?
So
it's literally their job.
If I don't do that, then I don't have to. No, their job is to put things in your mailbox. I don't feel like their job is to take things out of your mailbox.
Then why do they have flags?
Because they're trying to get a tip. It's the big postal.
I thought you
sticking it to you.
I thought you just tipped mailmen, mail women, mail people,
letter carriers, postal workers.
I thought you only did that once a year at the holidays when you give out your holiday tips.
Right, but if you've been putting that flag up all year, you owe them a little something. I'm like, don't put the flag up. Then I don't feel bad.
Okay,
are there any letter carriers? You should let us know what the etiquette is here.
I would love to know from a letter carrier what you expect. What is the average and what you expect? Because those could be two different things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Have we been angering our postal worker all these years?
I don't know. When I was a kid, we had the same letter carrier for years.
Right.
The same person, same car, same route. We lived out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
I knew exactly what time they would be there.
Yeah.
Now it's it changes daily. I don't ever know who's going to be out there.
Yeah.
Ever. And it could be at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure.
It could be at 5 a.m.
It's a moving target.
I never know.
Yeah.
It's a different person every day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The whole world's turned upside down.
So here's a good thing. Is this just with a certain HSA or FSA, or does this apply to all HSAs and FSAs?
TrueMed. It's a partnership with TrueMed.
Okay.
So it's only TrueMed.
Okay. But I bet you this expands. This seems like something that would branch out. But you can, if you have TrueMed, you can use your HSA or FSA funds to purchase Peloton equipment, which makes total sense.
It does. Now, I will say that TrueMed says at the checkout, you can use HSA. And in other words, if you have an HSA, you can use TrueMed to then use your HSA funds to buy it. So you don't actually have to have an agreement with TrueMed because Peloton has the agreement. So it makes it the ability for you to buy the equipment using their like checkout system.
Okay.
And so you can use your funds in their system.
Okay.
Does that make better sense?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool because that can be quite a tax savings.
For sure. And a lot of times too, you have money left over. And you're like, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
I guess I'll get myself a row.
Yeah. Man, this would have saved us thousands of dollars in taxes.
Yeah.
And some companies even fund your HSA.
For sure. Yeah.
So that, you could get a savings in both directions.
And it makes sense because it's like, it's good. It is good for your health.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. This is a great system. So I'm really glad that they are doing this. This is a very cool partnership.
Yeah.
And I don't think this kind of thing, because it's boring, it's not sexy.
Right.
It doesn't really get enough attention.
It's not sexy until you're saving that money.
But it's funny because like people will sit there and complain all day about the restocking fee, right? Like that conversation will be had in every group. Everyone's upset, but this, no one even cares.
Although I wonder if this stuff ever will go on sale or if you're buying it this way, if you're always paying rack rate.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know.
Just curious.
Although tax wise, would it be that big of a?
I don't know. I don't know what the probably a lot of it depends on how much you make.
All right.
We are not tax accountants.
No.
Please do not listen to our advice.
No, God, no.
Okay, now you can talk about a store opening, a Peloton store, a store where, so kids,
once upon a time,
there used to be physical, what they sometimes refer to as brick and mortar.
That is what they refer to.
Locations where you could acquire yourself a piece of Peloton equipment.
Now, in the United States, there are 24 brick and mortar stores remaining.
All of them in New York City.
No, but a chunk. Now they are reopening a store in Nashville. And when I say reopening, they used to have a store in Nashville.
Right.
I don't believe it's in the exact same location. Don't know. I haven't really confirmed because I didn't have them all memorized.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. But regardless, the city of Nashville will have a Peloton store again. So
huzzah.
There's
or
that.
However you say that in country.
And they did not call it a pop-up like they are calling the stores in Australia, which I think is notable as well. Because we've talked about the last couple of weeks, there's been 2 pop-up stores announced.
They have thrown 2 pop-ups on the Barbie.
We got one in Bondi. I remembered that. Rosalind, that was for you.
Yes.
And Claremont was the other one.
Yes.
So.
And the one in Bondi will have a personal appearance from Paul Hogan. And the one in or was the other one? Claremont will have a personal appearance from Glenn Chirac, former lead singer of Little River Band. Also, neither of those things are true for our Australian listeners. Please don't go do
my God, no.
Look for those people.
Please do not.
Although Australia, Glenn Chirac is a national treasure. Paul Hogan,
I would have to disagree.
But Glenn Chirac, yes.
Okay.
Peloton is partnering with Girl Trek for some walks.
They are. Yeah. It's a series of walks. So they're having a series of walks in Dallas, in Houston. Now, I don't know what the DMV is. I feel like...
The Department of Motor Vehicles?
No, I don't think so. I feel like it's like a location and it's a number of cities. And
Do you think it's like like the DC area, like DC, Maryland, Vermont? Are they all,
that could
or not
be
Vermont,
it.
Virginia? Are they all like super close? And
that
they
could be.
They got all cool and they said DMV.
It's at the DMV. Yeah, that could be. And then one in New York City. So yeah, that actually tracks.
Look at me getting something right.
I don't know. Peloton Tyson's Corner. So yes, you were right. Very nice, Tom. Very nice.
I think I'm going to make that my ringtone where you say, I am right.
I mean, everybody gets one right every once in a while.
Wow.
So
shots fired.
Anyway, that's pretty cool that Girl Tech is partnering up with Peloton.
So TJ Watt and JJ Watt, who both play second base.
Oh, I thought they were football players.
I don't know. I think they are football players. I just know that who's on first and Watt's on second. Are doing the Outwatted Challenge.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll remember this because you got to go back in time. This is a deep cut for listeners, and I do not think you're going to remember this.
Like Doc Brown.
So I think it was like back in 23, there was a post on Twitter where
I think it was JJ Watt.
I think it was too. Came in 8th out of 50,000 people. And he was like, whoa, I'm a little humbled by that because, like, who are these other seven people?
I'm an NFL player. Who are the other? Yeah.
So TJ Watt apparently took the same class, and I guess he came in
7 or higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now the brothers are in a little competition, and they want everyone in Peloton to be part of it. So, hey, all you people who purposely jacked your bikes, this is your moment.
Yeah.
People who have jacked their bikes, this will definitely come in their favor.
Yeah.
Because those people who have messed with their bikes and calibrated them, there are good reasons to genuinely calibrate your bike.
Sure.
There are just people that do it and it's a joke. So I say that with knowing both are true.
Yes.
Anyway, but you can enjoy this challenge in 20 minutes, all out, as many watts as you can get. That's the idea. That's the challenge. So it's coming soon. They haven't released all the details yet, but as soon as we see them, we'll be posting them.
If you're a fan of Hyatt hotels, this is not a commercial, by the way.
Hashtag not an ad.
Hashtag not an ad. There will be no promo code. If you're a fan of Hyatt hotels, you can gain points by using your Peloton while you're there because they got a bunch of Pelotons. And if you log in, you get points or something.
Well, it says that you can earn 100 bonus points per completed workout on up to 10 qualifying workouts. At least they have to be at least 20 minutes a month at 700 participating Hyatt.
How are you going to go to all 700? What a ridiculous promotion.
Members can earn up to 12,000 bonus points per year, and that is enough to redeem a free night. Now, you don't have to be. So if you are a World of Hyatt member and you don't have a Peloton account, you can still create one for free at the participating hotels. And then every Hyatt hotel where Peloton currently operates, which includes the United States, Canada, except for Quebec, the UK, Germany, Australia, and Austria, already have or will soon have a minimum of one bike. That's what the company is telling TPG.
Come on, Quebec. Get it together.
And additionally, every Pike Hyatt and a bunch of others will soon have or does have one Peloton row machine. Now that's new.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's real new.
That's a great way to get people to try it out, though.
It is. Yeah. It is a great idea. I love it. Yeah.
So we have Halloween classes coming soon.
We do.
I should say we're doing quick hits.
Oh.
With the this and that's.
We do.
Yes. So just a little roundup of stories. So Halloween classes coming soon. Boo.
Boo, indeed. Yeah, they start second half of the month. I think it starts on October 26th is where it like really starts.
Sure.
And then there's a bunch of them. They're going to several of the classes. If you take them, you're going to get a special Halloween badge. I am hopeful that when we are there on the 31st, there will be a special class that I get to be part of.
That would make sense.
It would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited.
Here's a special joke for all the trick-or-treaters out there.
Oh, dear. I'm scared. Oh, he's got the grin.
You know why witches don't have babies?
Why?
Because warlocks have Halloweenies.
Oh, my God.
You are welcome, America. Also, we have a deadlift smackdown on the Instagrams.
Yes. Well, so Peloton posted a debate, sort of, about deadlifts versus the traditional deadlifts versus Romanian deadlifts. And so they talk about the different form and execution and how it targets different muscles in each lift so that you can decide which to add to your routine.
A Romanian deadlift sounds very Halloween-y. It's like how Dracula does them.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be careful though with that cape. You could hurt yourself. I'll get all tangled up. That could be bad.
I could.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
And coming up after this, that's what you call a segue. Coming up after this, we're going to talk to Dr. Jen. She has tips for what to do when your plateau won't end. Those are the worst.
$9.99.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jen.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube, it's Dr. Jen Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She was a 5-year national team member in rhythmic gymnastics and sports psychology for USA Gymnastics. It's Dr. Jen. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I can't wait to hear your answer on this. This question comes from Elizabeth Schlossberg, and she says, okay, what do you do when you have a performance plateau that lasts a really long time, and it becomes like treading water just to not lose the gains you have been gaining? How do you handle that mentally? Teach
Well, the
us.
first thing you want to do is you want to go to your doctor and rule out anything physical. You want to have blood tests. You want to have you want to check nutrients. Are you deficient in iron? Are you deficient in vitamin D? There are a lot of nutritional deficits that can cause this.
Okay.
So you want to rule out any disease, any deficits, any hormone issues that could do it, because those are kind of quick, easy fixes that you want to rule out first.
Okay.
Then the next thing you want to look at is, why might this be happening? Are you hitting menopause? Have you been doing the same training program for too long and your body has just gotten tired of doing the same thing? Or mentally, what's going on with you? Are you thinking in a way that is creating this standstill that you are hitting? Because I know, for example, that I was kind of stuck on 10-pound weights. And I was like, this is as much as I'm lifting, this is what I'm capable of. And then along came Rebecca and Andy, and Rebecca's split where, she's doing heavier weights. And I listened to that Dr. Stacey Sims on your podcast and how she talked about the importance at a certain age of lifting heavier, doing less cardio, and I changed things around. And now I'm lifting 15s and 18s because I changed my mindset. And I really thought this is I've hit a plateau. I just can't go any further. Now, granted, at the same time, I've changed some other things in my life, and that could be part of it. But I really got the feeling that when I made the shift in my head, I was like, I'm just going to pick these up and see what happens. And I can do this. It changed things for me. So I think you want to rule out mentally, is your thinking preventing you from moving forward? And then I think it may be time to take a break, take a week off. Rest your body. What are you doing to encourage recovery? Because a lot of the time we make such demands on our bodies that our bodies are not having enough recovery time to actually get to perform well. So I would really look at how you can up your recovery game, which is kind of a whole other thing. Are you getting massages? Are you taking baths? Are you using Epsom salts? Are you, for those of us, and this is kind of a new thing that I'm really into, doing cold plunges, LED saunas, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, all of that stuff. I found since I started doing that, my recovery, night and day.
Wow.
It's completely different. I can do a workout, be incredibly sore, and then I do an LED sauna, a cold plunge, and I'm fine. Like it's completely different. So I think it's really important to look at what can you be doing at home? Can you pull out the Theragun? Can you, pull out the Epsom salts? Like, are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating enough food to get you through your workout? And are you eating the right kinds of food for your body and for your workout? So I think that all of these things are really important to explore. And then I think take a week off, like really take it easy, do nothing. Or if you want your blue check mark that may not be blue anymore from
it's
what I heard on
it's blurple
podcast.
Yeah.
So I do listen. So, and not just at me. I listen to you guys. So you want to make sure to take that time off. And if you want your purple check mark, then do some stretch classes, do some like a really light yoga, but really rest your body and then come back. And I would also say, shake it up. Create a completely new program for yourself. Get help doing it. Consult with someone who really knows about this stuff, like Crystal, who's really trained in this, who can help you put together a program, or someone in your area. But it's really important to kind of give yourself a fresh start and give yourself the recovery time.
Yeah. Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all that. Until next time, where can people find you?
Well, when I'm not in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber,
Yes,
they
don't
can
find her
find me
there.
on social media.
That would be weird.
Sometimes I'm doing both at once. I'm in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber on social media posting, and where you can find me at Dr. Jen Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man.
There's no smoking.
Definitely no smoking.
Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
Jocelyn Thompson Rule is launching a strength program and her own Instagram channel in support of said strength program.
Yeah, this has a few different differences. First of all, the name of the program is called Discover Strength. The second thing that you need to know is that it has a mobility program built into it.
Okay.
So the first week, it is 4 separate 20-minute sessions. And that's each one is like weeks 1 through 4. And then weeks 5 and 6, it's an extended warm up. And so they are built into the workouts themselves. So that's different because Peloton's never done anything like this before.
Okay.
The other thing is that she wants people to make sure that they are asking questions and that they are able to have a community. So she is building, as you said, the channel, the Instagram channel that you were going to be able to talk to her, and she's going to be able to send out information to everybody. And she's asking people to start putting the questions in as soon as you want to. And she will be putting together that broadcast channel, and it will be specific to that program.
Awesome. Peloton's really doubling down on strength.
Yes. Word on the street from the complainers is that they are spending too much time on strength at the expense of the bike content that they were used to.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the complainer camp.
We had an Instagram post this week that would lead one to believe that Leanne Hainsby Aldis.
Nice. Thank you for respecting her name.
This is what a feminist looks like, honey.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Might be teaching bar.
Yeah. She's all of a sudden posting photos and photo shoots of her doing bar-like moves. So you got to wonder if that's coming. And all of these instructors have added new elements.
Yeah.
So it would not shock me at all. So congrats to her if that is the case. I'm sure if it is the case, we will be hearing the official announcement within, I'd say, 30 to 60 days. That seems about
the
right.
lead time, you think, on those sorts of recordings?
Yeah, it's hard to say because if they were doing just a photo shoot, then that means they're probably pretty close to the publicity side of things.
Makes sense.
I would think. But if that was a true, like they were filming a class, then who knows? Because sometimes that stuff can sit in the can for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
At my age, I've sat in the can for 6 months.
Yeah.
Especially when I had a colonoscopy. Jen Sherman is going on tour.
She sure is.
Opening for Stevie Nicks.
No.
Oh.
But she would totally do that.
She totally would.
Let's see. Monday, December 2nd in Wilmette, Illinois, which it's around Chicago.
I was like, that's got to be the Chicago.
I just don't want to have people at me. The last time I said something was in Chicago.
Right,
oh
they're
my
like,
God. It turned into a stupid
technically,
conversation.
That's 3 blocks outside of Chicago.
Right.
proper.
Because of the traffic. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's near Chicago.
Right.
That is where it is going to be. And it's going to, she has the podcast with her friend Pam Sunshine. So it's Sunny and Jen is the name of their IG channel and podcast. And so they are going to be going on tour with Dear Found Her. So I'm sure that's going to be very exciting. And hopefully I saw it's going to be moderated by Lindsay Pinchuk. And I saw Lindsay post over on the JSS Tribe that she was hoping that they would be taking it to other cities as well. So I think we can all expect that, because how can this not go well? I mean, really, you put a Peloton instructor in front of a microphone, it's going to follow.
Seem to do okay. I'd be interested as a live event promoter. I'd be interested to know what size venues they're playing.
I could DM Lindsay and see what I can find out.
Ooh. Bex Gentry is gearing up for her Great World Race.
Yeah, she posted this week that it is 4 weeks away.
Oof. So we should remind people what this is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
It's obvious to
it
you.
Well, it takes up so much of my brain to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited for her, because this race is literally the Great World Race. You start in Antarctica and you go to each continent and complete a marathon a day for an entire week.
All 7 continents. In 7 days.
7 days.
7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days.
Yeah. That's literally their tagline. Good job.
I'm basically a marketing genius.
Absolutely. But yeah, how crazy is that? So I asked her, she said that she was like getting, starting to pack things and everything she was putting in her post. And I was like, okay, are you going to post all of the things that you are packing? Because I need to see this packing list. Because think about it.
Yeah,
you're going to be running in heat. You're going to be running in extreme cold. I need to see the layers that go into this.
Yeah.
Like, I am so curious. Also, whenever I watched or listened to the New York Roadrunners podcast, and I am set the pace. There it is.
Okay.
So Bex is a co-host on that, but she did an interview with David Kilgore, and you might remember Rob, who was on our podcast, and he's the other co-host of the show. And they were talking to Dave Kilgore because he's done this race before, and he was like, I guess he was kind of the inspiration how this kind of started with Bex.
Right.
So he was telling her that, like, the recovery, how you do the recovery is very key to this. So I can't wait to see her recovery, because the way he described it was like, you literally on the airplane are laying flat because they're flying you from one city or one country to the next.
Right.
And you get to lay flat down. And he was like, so you bring your Normatec so you can put it on your legs while you sleep, so you can like recover while you're sleeping before you start your next marathon the next day. Yeah, it's intense.
That's crazy.
It is. It is crazy. And she's nervous. Like, she's nervous.
Yeah. I mean, just going to 7 continents in 7 days is a lot.
It is.
I would need Normatrack for that.
Normatec, but yes.
Sure. Well, I would need the Normatrack. It's the lame version.
Oh, okay. I was surprised how nervous that she has said that she is in her classes. And I don't mean like it's not worth being nervous about. Let me be clear that it's just like, she's such an accomplished runner
that even someone like her still gets nervous
exactly
about challenges like this.
Yeah. Like, it's to other instructors who know she's doing this, they think she's crazy for doing this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's amazing. If I could run a marathon in 3 hours, this would be totally up my alley.
If you have the physical capability to do 7 in 7 days in the first place, and this falls into your lap, you got to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And this is not an inexpensive thing. This is like a $50,000 venture.
For sure.
So you got to be all in if you're going to go. But how exciting. I can't wait to see. She said she was going to post everything she was packing, by the way. There's going to be a YouTube post. And so we will be sure and push that out to everybody because I'm really excited about this for her. We will be tracking.
Ash Pryor is hosting a virtual event for mental health awareness.
She is, yeah. So this is going to take place before this goes live because it takes place on the 17th. So people will hear this and it will already be out. But it's a virtual event. This is going to be a virtual panel. It's going to be alongside Jared Denzel Keller, and it's going to be in conjunction with the Steve Fund, which is the nation's leading organization that is focused on supporting mental health and emotional well-being of young people of color. So a lot of Peloton members actually received an email invitation, and you can register for it through that link, and it's a free event. You can also just use our article and sign up,
right? Because
it's virtual, so there's really no reason to limit that, right?
Right.
And our article that we put out there also talked about the fact that Ash Pryor, she talks about how important emotional health is and taking care of yourself, especially on social media.
Yeah.
Social media is no joke. Now, there's a lot of you that I know just kind of scroll it and you move on. But when you are a person who is creating content of any kind on any regular basis, it can really mess with your head. And then if you're a person who has to consume it for your job or something that you're doing, it also can really mess with your head.
I think also if you're older, it's easier to just be dismissive of it and be like, because it didn't come into your life until later. But if you grew up with it always being there, I think it's a lot harder to insulate yourself from some of the damage that it can do to your psyche. I
totally agree. I mean, just talking to my daughter about it, the kids, they have a harder time turning it off.
Right.
Like if I'm like, well, you can just turn off your notifications. She's like, no, because somebody needs me. That's hard for them in a way that it's not as hard for adults.
Right.
At this point, at some point, those kids will be adults.
Yes.
So yeah. Anyway, what a great conversation to have. And I hope that it's super helpful for people. And I also hope that they post the conversation so that people who couldn't make it are able to go.
For sure.
That would still be very helpful.
Peloton artist collaborations.
So we got not one, but two artist series this week.
Yeah.
Which is funny when we were saying how we think we're going to get one a month. But we're kind of playing catch up because of Latin, Hispanic Latin, I think I'm getting in the wrong order, but
LHH month.
Yeah, yes, there we go.
Yeah. And I also have to say part of that is it was we did talk about the brat thing. We just weren't sure if that was, because we said that it was going to be taking place in October. We weren't sure if that was actually related to Charlie XCX because it just said brat ride. It didn't explain. So it was. Spoiler.
Oh, that's the next one.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. First the store opening and now this.
I know.
Get it together. We got to run a show list for a reason.
I'm a failure.
Enrique Iglesias. That's where we're starting.
Also him.
Yes.
And that leans to the Latin Hispanic Heritage Month.
Correct.
And so obviously there have been a lot of different voices they have been highlighting this month, which is really cool. I think a lot of people are going to be super excited about this one because he's huge and he's in mainstream media huge, not like a person with one album that some of us have never heard of. And he spans multiple generations.
Yeah, he's been around for a while now.
He has.
I remember when he was just Julio's kid.
Right?
Yeah.
Now he has his own whole empire he's created.
Nice to see one of the Nepo babies finally making it.
I know, right? They've got it so hard. Yeah. Sometime we should do a whole separate, just a bonus episode on pop culture Nepo babies because when we watch TV and we talk about it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's when if you go down the rabbit hole looking up actors sometimes on shows.
Good luck finding one that isn't.
Oh my God, it's insane.
It is.
Yeah.
But back to Enrique, who is talented on his own right.
Just because someone is a Nepo baby doesn't mean that they're not talented. They just have opportunities that a lot of other people might not.
Absolutely true. Well, Enrique has 8 classes. So you're going to have 8 opportunities to be able to take these classes. So very cool.
I don't know if you know this, Crystal, but there is another artist series to talk about. And it features Charlie XCX.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you do.
Cool.
Do you think like Roman people call her like Charlie 34 or whatever that would work out to be? Is C a Roman numeral?
I think it is, but I think it's 100. So I think it would be like 2000, or actually 10,
it'd be like
100,
10.
Yeah.
10,010. Charlie 10,010 is what they called her in ancient Rome.
Wow, we are really nerding up the joint tonight. Yeah. So there are going to be several lane breaks, but only one live class. And that was on October 11th. And it was a live DJ ride with DJ John Michael and Cody Rigsby. But there was also a walk, a run, and a ride, all for lane break. So if you really want to make sure that you get all of your Charlie 10,010 in, you are able to do that by the lane breaks or the live DJ ride with Cody and DJ John Michael.
Okay. They asked her to do more live classes, but she's a brat. You want to do them? Coming up after this, we have a new celeb spotting with a Peloton membership. We got a past guest update. And of course, we'll have an overview of all the cool content that you should be checking out so you get full usage out of your Peloton membership. So stick around.
Peloton Celebrity Sightings.
We have a new celebrity sighting.
We do.
I know we've never had this one before because I've never heard of this guy's name, but he's still a celebrity. Sam Claflin? Am I saying that right?
No idea.
So
never heard of him.
He's on the...
He's got really good abs, though.
I'm glad you noticed.
I mean, how can you not? How can you not notice that?
Okay.
It's right there.
Yeah, no, I can tell. He's got a little something right there.
That was a little droll.
Yeah, it's a little bit. But anyway, he was on, I think it's an Amazon show called Daisy and the Six, which was people loved. I don't think it's...
This is Daisy Jones and the Six.
Daisy Jones and the Six. Sorry. I don't think it's designed to have a season 2. I think it was just designed to be a miniseries. And it was kind of, I think, loosely inspired by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, okay.
And it's about a band in the 70s and they're all like romantically entangled and then they're putting out a record and it all kind of comes out in the songs and supposedly the music was great. People like went crazy for this thing when it was out. I saw so much social media posting about it. It was a lot, especially considering it was like on Amazon Prime and not on like Netflix.
Yeah,
right?
that is very notable.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently he has really good abs.
Mm-hmm.
One I've been told recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
you can count them. There's the whole 6-pack right there.
I'm sure you've
technically an 8-pack.
There you go.
Yeah. And also when he posted, he had a 30-minute run and he was in 22nd place out of 28,000 runners had taken the class before him.
He has earned each and every one of those abs.
It's true.
Well done.
It's true.
Well done, Sam.
Good job, Sam.
Past guest update.
CJ Albertson, who was on the show a while back, big time marathon runner.
Yeah.
And he posted that he is running both the Chicago and the New York City Marathon, which are like, 3 weeks apart?
Yeah. And so Chicago was this past weekend.
Right.
And he did do that. And not only that, but when he was in Chicago, he PR'd by 1 minute and 36 seconds. So he finished in 2 hours and 8 minutes and 17 seconds. He finished 7th at the Chicago Marathon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shorter than the runtime of Joker 2.
Facts. Also, don't watch that movie.
And would only be slightly less miserable.
I can't even imagine running it in that time frame. Like, that's just insane. But anyway, he is going to be at the New York City Marathon. He is excited to, according to his post, not like I talked to him.
Yeah.
But he was saying that his training has improved. He PR'd and now he is super stoked to get in there and do what he can do at New York. I can't help but wonder how this is going to go. I tell you what, he is so fast. I just see big things for CJ.
And he keeps getting faster.
I know, because he keeps running. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Keep improving. It's so cool. So cool. So
New content.
Let us now turn our eyes to the TCO Top 5. We will start with your favorite bike boot camp.
Okay. So this week, your favorite bike boot camp was with none other than Just Sims. And it was a Sim 60 taught on October 8th. And Melanie Melly Martinez said this was her favorite class because Turkish get-ups are really fun. Not true, but I'm glad you love it.
Number 2 is your favorite row.
Favorite row came from Alex K. He has been really hitting our list hard. There have been Alex K's all over this thing. This was a 45-minute 90s row, and Mindy Jensen said she enjoyed it. Alex billed it as 90s guilty pleasures, and any playlist with achy breaky heart is certainly a guilty pleasure playlist. I'm not sure I could do that.
It might be guilty. I don't know about the pleasure part.
I don't know that I could listen to that. Because that's a ridiculously long song and you can't escape it. You can't turn it down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But for Alex, I would try. I would. Yeah, he's great.
Number 3, your favorite ride.
The Brat Ride. The Cody Rixby one.
How about that?
Yeah, Kimberly Ray Jessup, the Law Mother, and Super Trish all nominated this class. Kimberly said Cody knocked it out of the park again with this ride, having DJ John Michael and Ren, because if you know, you know, along for the ride made it even better. A live DJ, fantastic music, and a party-like atmosphere with Cody. A ride couldn't get much better.
Number 4, your favorite class pairing.
Okay, so Sarah Lester nominated this. Any 5-minute post-walk followed
post-meal walk.
Thank you. Followed by a 10-minute restorative yoga class. She said that this pairing was perfect because you can get out and get yourself digested, and then you come home and you clear your mind while you relax. You're ready for bed.
You get the farts out before you do the yoga.
Exactly. It's important.
That makes sense.
It's important to do it in that order.
Yes.
Like I wouldn't restore.
Everyone else in the house would be very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Number 5, your favorite unstackable.
Okay. So this was taught by Allie Love. It was a 30-minute Tabata class. Michael Davern said that what a way to start the day or week. A warm up, then 30 on, 10 off, 7 times for 1 set. A 2-ish minute cool down, and then repeat it 4 times. Woo. Yeah. An average 8.8 difficulty rated by 5,000 members who have taken it. So,
yikes.
Not going to slouch if you take that class.
No, you are not. And we will take a look around the world of Peloton for what's going on this week at Peloton. We have a boss ride with Allie.
We do, yeah. So October 20th, 12 p.m. Eastern, you're going to be able to take a live boss ride.
Endurance hour with Bex.
Yeah. So Bex is going to be doing a 60-minute endurance run. That's going to be on Tuesday, October 15th. It's going to be live at 12 p.m. Eastern. So by the time you hear this, it'll already be out and on demand and ready for you.
We also have Discover Yoga.
Yes. So we are now in week 5 of the Discover Yoga series. And there's going to be Dennis this week. And I believe, there's going to be balancing poses this week.
Okay. My favorite.
I know.
I hate it.
You love the balancing.
Balancing. And finally, Bollywood Pilates.
Right. Well, Aditi is teaching this class Thursday, October 17th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. You can enjoy Bollywood while you do your Pilates. How lovely.
Christian Vandevelde has a new series.
He does. I think this is really fun. It's called Real Routes. This is not under a collection yet. This isn't under any weird thing that you have to go do. You just hop on the bike, and if you just filter by Christian Vandevelde, boom, there it is. The first one was called, well, I'm sure that I'm going to mess this up. So just bear with me.
Okay.
Cool de Galloper. It is the 8th highest paved road in the Alps. And so what he's going to do is like take you on the ride mentally, but with the turning up the resistance as you would, but also kind of describe what that would feel like, what your strategy would be as you do it.
Is this also a scenic ride?
Nope.
Oh, he's just telling you?
Yeah.
So the road's really high.
It's like when Christine did her ride up Halekulea, the big volcano, and she did that in 4 different parts.
Does he have you like kind of restrict your windpipe to replicate altitude?
I don't know because I haven't taken the class.
Okay. That seems dangerous.
I wouldn't think that he would suggest that. That doesn't seem like a great idea.
It would be reckless to even mention something like that.
Good. Glad we agree. But these are all bike routes that he has tackled during his career as a professional cyclist. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I also, when you said 8th highest paved, I'm like, at what point do they stop ranking the altitude of paved roads?
It's in the Alps,
like
man.
15, 35?
I don't know.
They're like, that's enough.
Maybe they get to like the top 20.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. There can't like
The 1,1219th highest paved road.
whatever. Listen, here's how it is. The climb is 18.1 kilometers long. It starts at an elevation of 1,397 meters and it reaches a summit of 2,642 meters. So that's an elevation gain of 1,245 meters with an average gradient of 6.9%. The final section of the climb also includes a maximum gradient of 10% at the 17.5 kilometer mark. It is considered a difficult ascent, and it is known as being decisive in determining final standings in the Tour de France.
And I know what none of that meant because it was all metric. And I love America.
It's real high and it's real hard.
Real high, real long.
Real hard.
Your mind is in the gutter.
I'm so sorry.
We are classier than that. Bust out your rock horns.
Yeah. Charlotte.
Peloton's got your medal collection.
She has a medal collection, and Charlotte is in it, but so is Bradley Rose, and there's some other instructors as well. And there's going to be more than just bike classes. There's going to be some different things like medal bar, medal shadow boxing, medal ride, medal row. So all kinds of things.
Fun.
Yeah.
We also have classes for World Mental Health Day.
We did.
We did. We also had classes for World Mental Health Day.
Yes. It was on the 10th. Thanks for paying attention.
Don't shame me. It was World Mental Health Day.
And you didn't know.
You're damaging my mental health.
Anyway, yes, there were some classes for that. Let's see. There were rides. There was yoga flow, meditation. There was creating a special day that Kira did a special creating space class with Adrian. And there was also a ride, a body weight strength, a row, a run, full body strength, and another ride that was in German. There were a few rides, or a few classes in German. My bad. Should have said that as I went through. So very cool. If you didn't get a chance to get them, it's not like you can only do them on that day. You know?
Yeah.
They're still
still
great.
there.
Right.
There is also a new Spanish language program available.
Yes, there is. And it is called Dale Duro, which I probably didn't say correctly, but I'm going to pretend that I did.
Sure, why not?
And it is going to be all in Spanish, and Camila is going to be teaching it 4 weeks, 3 days a week. So total classes, all strength. So it's very exciting. That is our second Spanish program for strength because Rad had put out the other one a couple weeks ago. So that's pretty awesome.
We also have a couple of articles from the Clip Out to share with you, clipout.com.
We do.
The first is we have an overview of our fall picks.
Yeah, Tina, Helper B Tina, did this lovely article about all the different like fall classes just to kind of, miss something, Sam Yo did an autumn recovery ride. So it's a great example. And that was actually taught back on September 22nd. So might have missed it because there's a lot of different classes. In case you did, this would be a really good time to make sure you take it. There's also Eric Yeager's Oktoberfest ride. That one took place on September 20th. So that's definitely out there.
But you got to put beer in your water bottle for it to truly count as an Oktoberfest. You won't get the badge if you don't do that.
It's the law.
Yeah.
Also, all of the All for One classes, like I there were so many of them. And some of the top ones that we wanted to highlight were the Hannah's 20-minute Keith Urban ride. That was when he did the live concert in the studio. Robin's 30-minute Taney ride, which celebrates Latin American Heritage Month. It also includes some of your favorite instructors as riders in the class. So that would be a really good series that you could put a few together and make a nice stack. And then, of course, Peloton's fall apparel edit. They have some really great new colors that they put out just in time for fall. There was red grape, brick red, and ash.
And we also, over on the website, have a split review for people?
Listen, this is a super comprehensive review, and it's Split Plus. These are all the new classes that just dropped. There were 4 new programs that just dropped. Katie's 4-day Split Plus row, and then Cliff's 4-day Split Plus ride, Ben's 4-day Split Plus ride, and Olivia's 4-day Split Plus run. So the gang at the Clip Out, we had tipsters, we had helper bees, everyone worked together.
All hands on deck.
They did. Everyone wanted to join in and take this. So, Lori Sage and Ben, I almost said Ben Aldis, Chris Perrone, and let's see, who else was...
Although I'm sure Chris is very excited that you confused him with Ben Aldis.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. He's like,
well, I'm glad
why?
someone's finally noticing.
You know. And then Trish Lalonde had stuff to add. Jen Kern had stuff to add. Like, everybody, I'm telling you, everybody worked together. It was really cool. And it's really neat to see what everybody, I forgot Tina in the middle of all that.
You talked about her in the last article.
But it was,
calm down, Tina.
It was neat because Tina also, as a bonus point of learning, that whenever she was doing this, she took the one that was in German, and she was like, it was really cool because he still says words like bicep curl in English because that's the word for them. So you can still pretty darn easily follow
Figure
along.
it out. Yeah.
So I just thought that was a nice little bonus for that. But anyway, this is a great article because it really breaks down the pros and the cons for each of these classes or each of these series. So I really recommend it. It's really good.
Peloton Birthdays.
So we have 2 birthdays coming up this week. First is the aforementioned Stephen Little, former Peloton instructor extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And that is on October 18th.
Happy birthday to Stephen Little.
And on October 24th, Matt Wilpers.
Well, happy birthday to Matt Wilpers.
And coming up after this, we have our interview with author Sara Confino, so stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is new full-time author Sara Confino. Hey, Sara, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi. This is my first week of full-time authoring, actually.
How did it go?
How many pages?
I actually finished the draft of book 5 today.
What?
In a
So
week?
it's amazing. Well, no.
So you had a head start. Okay.
But it's amazing how much I can get done when my children are in school and I'm not.
Yeah.
I was just going to be upset. I am famous within people who listen to the show. So, put an asterisk by that.
Yeah.
But I'm a famously slow reader. And I was like, man, if you're writing books faster than I can read them, like Crystal's doing this one by herself.
He's going to storm off.
My ego can't handle it.
To be fair, I did write Don't Forget to Write in 39 days. So that, I would rather give birth unmedicated than do that again.
But you can. You can
I
do it.
can, yes.
Yes.
So you can still be mad. Ha, she did it.
Maybe if I took a whole week off work, I could finish a book.
I know, because you would still get distracted by the television.
That's true.
That is the problem.
That is true.
That's the real problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway.
Sorry.
Okay, so that is quite an accomplishment. How excited are you to have draft done?
I don't know because I haven't looked at how messy it is yet. I think I'm going to start reading this thing tomorrow and be like, okay, you don't know how to write. And but we'll see. We'll see. I've pleasantly surprised myself before. So hopefully it's good.
That has to be very different to need to have a schedule that's not around work. So how did that go week 1?
So far, so good for the most part. So I did have a few other author engagements during the week. It wasn't all just sit down and write time. And I did have to go run a couple of errands because my children decided they will only eat certain foods and nothing else. So, had to take care of that in the morning. But it was nice to not have to write, from 9 to 11 p.m. and actually get to be a human being instead of a vampire. That was great. So
you probably felt like you had so much actual time with your family.
I did actually. Some of that was still kind of how it was because I was writing mostly after my kids went to bed.
Oh, right.
But, I get to feel a little bit more present. I'm not as worried about everything else that I'm doing. I get to squeeze in my workout before they get home, which is great. And so far, so good.
Yay. You need to start doing the thing in your interview space that you're in right now where the book's cover is facing forward behind you.
Yes.
People do. You gotta do that, guys.
Ooh, I
You gotta do that.
should.
Yeah.
You know, I had to redo my entire background because I was in this magazine that's local and they came out to do a photo shoot and I was like, oh, they can't see my office the way it is right now. Like I looked like a crazy hoarder lady because I was still sending out book boxes and everything. And it was like, oh no, they're going to like send somebody to check on me if they see this. So that was a 3-day project to redo my shelves and make everything look like I'm actually a human and not some troll in a basement writing books, you know.
But that's where books come from, is trolls in basements.
Right.
That's-
Yeah, it's very well known.
Yeah.
That's a well-known fact.
I mean, I am
But enough
upstairs,
about
like the
Ben
Peloton's in the
Shapiro.
basement, but yeah.
So, you know, it's funny. The best writing advice I think I ever heard, and as someone who doesn't write, well, wait, I had a short story published. That counts.
That's awesome.
But was from a guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was a writer for The Simpsons, and he's written a lot of episodes and a lot of classic episodes. And they asked him, how does he write so many episodes? And he was like, I sit down to write it, and I write it as quickly as I can, and I don't care about being funny, or I just get it all down, and then I walk away from it for like 48 hours, and then I come back to it, and it's like, what idiot wrote this piece of trash? Let me fix it. And then he's like, then I can go through and like, so I start by writing something really bad, and then I pretend like it's not mine and I fix it.
So as a diehard Simpsons fan, I like now want to know who that is. The bottom shelf here that you can't see is actually Simpsons books. I taught a class one summer on The Simpsons and society. Like I'm a Simpsons nut job. Like,
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not recent seasons, but yeah.
Well,
like,
sure.
It's,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
The good stuff.
the
Yeah.
classic
Like
years,
1
like
through
seasons 5 through
9.
15, especially.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like seasons 5 and 6 were where it really hit its
Yeah.
groove. With all the
Yeah.
Sideshow Bob and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Monorail.
You know, I tend to, so I was a journalism major for 5 semesters in college, and then I taught journalism for 21 years, which is insane. So I'm very good at drafting very quickly, and I've heard that I actually turn in very clean drafts in general. So like there's not a lot that I have to go back and rewrite typically, which is not the norm. And I really think it's just that journalism training, because you have to write so fast on a deadline, and
makes
it
sense.
has to work.
You have
Like,
to
in
edit,
college-
and you have to edit as you're writing, really.
So like in college, when I wrote for the college newspaper, I remember having to go sit in the newsroom and write my article, and it would get published like that day. So that kind of writing, that definitely has helped me pump stuff out a lot quicker. It's helped me with conciseness. So for example, when I was selling my first book, For the Love of Friends, I was telling the story the other day, actually, my agent was like, well, we need to get it under 90,000 words. Nobody's going to touch it if it's not under that. And she started talking about scenes to cut. And I was like, I tell you what, give me a weekend. And I sat down with it, and I just used the rules that I teach my students. And literally I cut 6,000 words. And she was like, how did you do that? Like, you didn't cut a single scene or like line of dialogue. I'm like, I know. I can do this now.
You're like, no adjectives.
Basically, and a lot of contractions, but I got it down to, 89,000 words. We were good to go.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
My little superpower from teaching.
Yeah.
What I'm curious, what was like the moment that you were like, okay, now is the time to go ahead and try writing full time? What prompted that?
I'm not sure I'm actually there yet. This is all very new and scary, to be honest with you. Like, oh, I actually have to make money off of like my brain now, not just like there's no guaranteed paycheck. But I was down to part-time. I went down to 0.8 to get my kids to school, and then 0.6. So I went from teaching 5 classes to 4 to 3. And last year I was, at school. It was still most of my day, despite teaching fewer classes. And it was bringing in a third of our money. And I was kind of like, why am I torturing myself when it's not what I want to be focusing on right now? And my husband actually just got a job with a band. So he's still teaching part-time, but he's also traveling a lot with this band. And when he's not home, I have 0 time to write because my children don't like to sleep. I don't understand that. All I want to do is sleep. And my 4-year-old in particular is not a sleeper, which is great. It's so much fun, truly. You can put that child back in his bed 50 times. He will sneak out of his room 51 times. Like literally every single night, you hear a door creak open and little footsteps running down the hall, and you're like, please be an intruder. Please be an intruder. It's never an intruder. It's always Max, and he wants to sleep in my bed. We had to get a preschool-style nap cot to put in our room just to keep him out of our bed because I was not sleeping at all.
Oh my gosh.
But when my husband's gone, by the time I get the kids down to bed at like 8:30, 9:30, if my 4-year-old naps at daycare, and then I have to clean everything up. I've still got to make the lunches. I've got to do all of the mom stuff. I'm exhausted. There's no time to get any writing done. And that's actually why this 5th book didn't get finished until this week, because there was just no time. And it was rough. And so finally we kind of sat down and we looked at finances, and I had saved up close to a year's salary. And I was like, I think I'm going to try to do this. And he was very supportive of that. And now it's terrifying, but hopefully going to work out, and we'll see what happens. The goal is to get to 2 books a year. So if I can do that, I can make this work. So fingers crossed.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Scary.
Our goal is for you to get big enough so when we ask you back for an interview, you blow us off.
That is our goal. That is our
That's our goal for you. We'll be like, well, she finally made it. We don't like her anymore. No, that's.
I don't feel like being invited on this at all. I finally made it.
Stop.
If you want to, I'll make you really jealous. My youngest son, when he was that age, he would put himself to bed.
Yeah.
Like we'd look around and we'd
She's
be
gonna
like,
punch you.
We'd be like,
she's gonna find a way to punch you through the screen.
We'd be like, where's Brian? And then we'd go into his room and he would have just crawled up into bed, pulled the covers. He was just like, I'm tired now. I'm going to bed. That's it.
Oh, no, I have to lie in the bed with him, and I have to pretend to go to sleep too, because if my eyes open, he's like, you're not sleeping. And it's like, great, thank you. And then do the super quiet creep out of the bed and hope it doesn't squeak at all. And then a dog will come in and then I have to start all over again. And it's great. Truly great.
Okay, well, one hopeful thing for you is a lot of times when kids are like that as they're little, they're easier to deal with when they're in their preteens. So I will hope that for you.
I have 2 boys, so I'm hoping that era will be a little bit smoother. My best friend, for example, has a 13-year-old girl. And I dropped something off a couple months ago, and she gave me the mean mug, and I was like, come here. And she comes over all grumpy stomping over. And I was like, all right, when you want to dye your hair purple and get things pierced and your mom says no, who do you think is taking you? And she's like, you? And I was like, yeah, you don't make that face at me anymore, kid. So now, we're good now, but her mom's in for it.
Yeah, girls,
especially because we've been friends almost 30 years. So she can't really get mad at me no matter what I let her daughter do.
So. Okay, well, I guess we should ask about Peloton too. We should. Well, how did you originally find Peloton?
So I am a total lemming. And as soon as one of my friends does something, I'm like, I want that too. We had all seen that commercial that went viral. That was, the horrible commercial. And so let me back up a little bit. During virtual teaching, so this is 2020, 2021, I was home that whole year because my now 4-year-old was born in May of 2020 and my school worked it out. So even though some people went back in the spring, they kept me home because we didn't have any childcare. So it was literally me and a baby head on Zoom. I was wearing him for the first year of his life, which we joked was going to be great birth control for the students, except if my mom came and took the baby, everybody signed out. He was their little mascot. They were only there to see him. It was hysterical.
Oh my God.
But she would come over and take him usually during my lunch break. And I've got a treadmill that you can't see in my office. And I would get on the treadmill and run for most of my lunch break because that was my only time when I did not have a baby literally attached to me. And I started to get some hip pain. And I'm a Googler and a total hypochondriac. And I wind up on WebMD and convinced that I'm dying every time, anything hurts. It's my nose feels weird. Oh, nose cancer. Cool. So I diagnosed myself with bursitis, which I'm going to tell you right now was wrong. I actually wound up getting a knee pillow and that completely fixed my hip pain. And when it came back a little, we got a new mattress and I have not had a single issue with my hips since then. It was not the running. But I was like, all right. Clearly, my body is giving out. I am developing bursitis. I need to find something lower impact to keep me working out. And I was always a total gym rat, but during COVID and then with little kids, I just didn't have time to go to the gym. I was not somebody who was into cycling. I've got a bike. I like outdoor stuff, but exercise bikes bored me to death. Even if I was riding, reading or watching something, I did not want to do it. So my best friend told me she ordered a Peloton. And then our other best friend in our group chat was like, oh, I'm going to do that too. And then I was talking to a different friend and I was like, Jen and Sarah are getting Pelotons. I kind of want one. And she was like, ooh, I should get one. And then she ordered one. And I was like, what are you all doing right now? So I actually talked my parents into getting one first so I could try it because it was still early in COVID. Like we weren't going to each other's houses, but we were bubbled together. And my dad is actually a huge cyclist. Like he's 73. He got an e-bike last year, but up until he got the e-bike, he would still bike 17 miles to work.
Wow.
Like in the summer. And now he does it with the e-bike.
His
he
work
would
had
only
a
do it
shower.
one way. They do. Yeah.
Okay.
He's at a university. So he'd go to the gym, he would take a shower, and like, then he'd bike home. And it was like,
Hope his home has
you're
a
in your
shower.
70s. Like, what?
That's
Yes.
amazing. That is really amazing.
I mean, he's got stamina galore with exercise. Like he can kick my butt. In fact, we've done some like rides together. Like he destroys me. And I'm like, you're 73, dude. Like, how are you doing this? But I mean, it's just wild. Like he's really, and if I actually go out cycling with him, like he does not look behind him ever. So you better keep up or he's gone. And he has the car keys. So you're in trouble if you get lost. Like he does not look behind him ever. But I got them to get a Peloton so I could try it. And I wound up getting totally addicted to it. My parents barely use theirs, which is hysterical. Like they do sometimes. They took my old treadmill when I upgraded to. They use that a little bit more than the Peloton. But then finally I was like, all right, I want to be able to do this. This is good. So I ordered one. It came in April of 2021. And then my knees started bothering me. My knees, which had been fine on the treadmill when my hips weren't. And I was like, oh my God, like I just bought a $2,000 paperweight. Like I'm not going to be able to use this thing. What am I going to do? And so I did one of like the Matt Wilper's virtual fittings, and I love you, Matt, but it
didn't do the trick.
It didn't do the trick. They were trying to say one of my legs was longer than the other, and it's not that. That wasn't it. And then I found a physical therapist who will come to your house, which I couldn't like leave because I had a baby that I was full-time watching. And so that was just fabulous. She came over during nap time. And I told her the whole issue, and she like literally moved my ankle for like 10 seconds and was like, did you break this? And if you had asked me prior to that, if I had broken my ankle, I would have said, no, I never broke a bone. And then I thought about it and I was like, actually, I fractured that one when I was 11. Long story short, my brother was jumping off of my parents' deck. And I was like, why are you doing that? He's like, you can't do it. He was correct.
Oh, no.
So I was in like an air cast for like 6 weeks or something when I was 11.
Well, you could
which
do
again,
it, but
completely blocked it out.
But just once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never did that one again. But that ankle was causing the majority of my problems.
Did it not have the flexibility?
Nope. And I wore heels for a million years. So I've got short Achilles tendons from it. And so she gave me like 3 exercises, went downstairs with me, adjusted the bike, and I've had 0 problems since then. So she's a miracle worker. I've recommended her to everybody in the area who has any issues. I'm now like helping to diagnose people. I'm like, all right, if you're having problems, send me a picture of your bike and I'll show you what your settings have to be for this. But ever since then, I mean, it's been literally when I'm home, it's pretty much every day if I'm healthy that I'm on that bike. Like it's just this total lifesaver. I love it.
Wow.
It's like, I still like running. If it's nice out, I'll still sometimes go out for a run. I don't think I've run on the treadmill more than like a half dozen times since I got the bike. Like I'm loving it. So that's my very long story of how I got into this.
Well, but then I'm curious if you ever take any of the other Peloton class content, or are you just like a bike person? And that's okay.
So I do mostly some arm stuff because I'm trying to make sure I don't get that, old lady wing going on. Like, I've seen enough of those. I don't want that. I've done a few other strength things. I've done a few of the outdoor walks. I have not done any of the runs yet. I'm very much eyeing the Peloton treadmill, especially now that it has Kindle on it. I'm like, maybe I pull the trigger on that when I sign my next book contract. That might be my splurge for myself.
I hear you.
We'll say. Last year I did not get to splurge. I was going to splurge on myself, and then I hit a parking pole in a garage, and everybody was screaming because I forgot quarters for the arcade at the movie theater, and everybody was yelling. And the price of the damage was like, I think $30 off from the price of the purse I was going to buy myself. So that didn't happen.
I'm so sorry.
Next time around, hopefully I can splurge on something other than bad driving.
Gosh.
Well, now that it has Kindle on it, I think that if you read one of your own books on there, you can write it off. It's a write-off. It's business
That's
expense.
an interesting question, actually. If I can do, my cousin's my accountant. I'm going to call him right after this.
You're like, hey, I just talked to a nut job on a podcast that had a really dumb idea. Can I do it?
People are claiming that I can like write off my dogs and their expenses if I use them in like promo videos. And I'm just like, all right, well, there is a schnauzer and don't forget to write. So I could make this happen.
Oh, see?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, and you can use.
So if you use the kids in the promo video, can you write off the kids?
Oh,
Apparently you can to a certain extent. I know somebody else who's like an influencer who definitely like pays her kids by putting it in their college fund and then writes that off. So maybe.
oh, maybe the
Wow.
kids need to be in our new videos.
My 7-year-old definitely thinks that every time I do an interview, it's about him. So, like, I did this big local book festival and they had like TV crews there, and he begged to be interviewed. And one of the reporters sat down and did like a 10-minute interview with him. And at the end of it, the reporter goes, oh, thank you so much. This was great. And my 7-year-old goes, it was an honor. Although at my latest book launch party, it was actually the first book launch party that I've had because my first 2 books, my kids couldn't get vaccinated and I didn't want to go do something I couldn't bring them to. And then last year was the first week of school and I was just not mentally capable of that right then. But we had this big book launch. 100 people showed up. It was crazy.
Wow.
It was standing room only. Like, some of them came up to meet me afterwards and they were like shaking hands. And I'm sitting here like, I am so much more afraid of you than you are of me. Like, you don't know that right now, but okay. And at the end of it, my 7-year-old goes, can I get on the microphone? And I go, okay, sure. So I hand it to him. And he goes, thank you all so much for coming. And then my 4-year-old runs up, grabs the microphone from him and just goes, poop. And if that doesn't sum up my motherhood experience, nothing does.
Hey, give the crowd what they want.
That's right.
People love poop jokes.
People do love
That's why
poop
I'm
jokes. That's true.
I'm 53 and that's what I do.
Also
So-
true.
Great.
Also
So
true.
I've got how many more years of this with him?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. It's you're gonna have a long go with that one.
Yeah, 2 boys. I was not prepared for 2 boys. Like, this is, yeah. I just want to know when I'll sit on a dry toilet seat again in my life. Like, that's really,
maybe when you have someone clean it for you.
oh, it's bad. It's bad. I have a friend who has 3 boys and she literally tiled behind every toilet in her house to make it easier to clean. I'm just like, I don't want to have to do that.
I remember when I met Tom and he had
I have 2 boys. Yeah.
And so when we all started living together, I was like used to doing all of my own cleaning. And I was like, no, I am not cleaning up your children's pee. Like that is that is a road too far. And then we didn't feel comfortable having the kids clean up each other's
because there's
mess.
steps, right?
They're
so it's
step
like
siblings, and we didn't want them to resent
that feels like
each other.
some sort of punishment or
Yeah.
Cinderella thing going on, and so we hired like every 2 weeks somebody. comes in and
we just have
cleans,
somebody
and so-
come in to clean the
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Yeah,
that was
we have that too, and it's not enough.
No,
it's-
not when they're little. You're right. It's not.
Yeah, not
it's
at that age.
No.
When they start to get a little bit older, it comes down some.
It'll be more manageable.
enough that every 2 weeks is okay.
Yes.
My favorite is when they like go outside and they're just like, oh, there's a tree. And it's like, there are people everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of being a boy.
You're
Didn't
like,
you
we're
know?
at Disney. What?
I'm not even going to get into that story. It's happened. That's all I'm going to say. They're not going to let me back. Like, I was very concerned about this.
Oh my God.
There was an experience on the National Mall this summer, and I was like, we're going to jail. Just FYI, this is a national park. Hello.
Oh my goodness. Wow. You have your hands full. You do.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, okay, back to Peloton again. I have to ask about the Peloton's Moms Book Club because you are very active over there. And I'm curious how, like, did you find out about it and then, or did they find you? Like, tell me how this happened.
I actually joined that, I think, before my first book came out. So it wasn't like about promoting books or anything. It was I got into Peloton and then joined all the Peloton groups that I could find because it's totally a cult. Like, you get a bike and all of a sudden you're like knocking on doors like a Jehovah's Witness. Like, hi, can I tell you about our Lord and Savior Peloton? Like,
Have you heard the good news? Yeah.
It's literally, you know how CrossFit people are? We might be worse. Like,
I think we're worse. I think we're worse because we have a little bit of a snobbiness that maybe CrossFitters.
CrossFit, though.
It's a different kind of snottiness,
Yeah, like
But yeah.
And there's my brother who's both. And I'm like, okay, you're just insufferable. Like, no. I did do the same ride as him one time, though, while he completely kicked my butt, but it was pretty funny. Like, I'm like texting him during it. He's like, just ride already. But no, so I joined that. I really think it was before For the Love of Friends came out. And then I was scared to tell anybody that I was an author because I am very much a rule follower. Like, I don't want to break any rules. I don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I still, after the first book came out, very much did not feel very legit as an author yet.
Aww.
It was still felt very, it was during COVID. I could barely leave my house still with the baby and everything. And it just didn't really, I don't know, I wasn't that comfortable talking about it yet. And then when She's Up to No Good came out, it was in Amazon First Reads. So you could download it for free for the month before it came out. And people started posting, what are you picking for first reads? And another author in the group, Kathleen Willett, she is also with my publisher, and her book was in that same promotion. And she did a post about it. And I was like, oh, is this something we can do? And I just sort of mentioned, hi, my book is one of those too. And it just snowballed and became this thing. Like, people downloaded it and loved it. And then Don't Forget to Write was in First Reads, and that one just exploded. And now I've got a couple of haters in there, but for the most part, it's been a really positive experience. Like,
well, now
my friends
you've
who have bikes are in the group, and they're always like, all they do is talk about you. And I'm like, I know it's a little embarrassing. But
now you've made it. When
Yes.
when you have some haters, you
I
made
always
it.
tell Crystal,
He does.
you're not popular until people don't like you.
It's true. It is true.
I had one person who joined after there was somebody who had posted something anonymously that they didn't think I should be in the group. And so I left the group for a little while. And I had 150 people message me and be like, please come back. And so I had talked to the moderators before I left. I was like, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. If it's a purely reader space, I'll respect that. I'm fine. And people asked me to come back. So I did. And then somebody joined right after that, had a completely blank profile and only commented trashing me whenever I posted anything. And it was like, okay, are you actually in this group or are you just here to troll?
Yeah.
Okay. Wound up blocking. Best thing I did. I didn't have to worry about it anymore. If you don't like someone, though, I don't get it. If I'm that annoying, block me. You'll
Right.
never see me again. It's
Right.
lovely.
Those people, there's just something not right.
Yeah.
They
and the wiring.
have time on their hands and a lot of hate. And it's not about you, it's about something broken in them. And I can say that, and I still get obsessed when people do it to me. So I'm no better, but I know that it's true. So I hope that
But
brings
it's
you.
3 people in the group for the most part out of 47,000 people. If that's my ratio, cool.
You'll
great.
take it.
Yeah.
You'll take it.
Exactly. Because it's such a positive community overall. That's
It is.
what's been so awesome about Peloton and Peloton book, Mom's Book Club. It's just been a really positive place. Think about the high fives on the leaderboard. I don't know these people high-fiving me. I don't know these people I'm high-fiving, but it's great. I don't know. I just love that it's so happy.
I agree.
For sure.
I agree. That's the thing that's always drawn
It's
me to
very much the
Peloton.
Legally Blonde thing. Exercise gives you endorphins.
It's true.
Happy people don't kill their husbands. There we go.
Do you, was there a moment where you felt like you were a real author? I guess I should ask which book got you there in your mind?
Probably Don't Forget to Write. That's definitely been the hit so far. It's still, I have a lot of imposter syndrome and people are like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. My brain's broken. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It just very much still feels, I don't even know how to explain it. One of my very favorite authors is Beatrice Williams, and I think she thinks I'm a total stalker because I've been trying to get a blurb from her for years. I think she probably thinks I live in the bushes outside her house, and I don't, but I have the top fan badge on her page from commenting on stuff, which is a little embarrassing. It's fine. She actually read this new one and posted that she was loving it, and that was very much I feel like I've arrived moment. We're not best friends yet. I think she still thinks I'm a stalker, but that. The acknowledgement that I was not just a crazy person and was actually another author too, because she's really been influential in my work. She was the first place where I saw humor in historical fiction. She's really how I learned how to do a dual timeline. She's the queen of that. And so for her to actually read my book and post about it was really a very defining moment for me. I totally geeked out.
Does that mean you're getting a blurb? Does that mean you're getting a blurb?
It hasn't happened yet, but doesn't mean it won't happen later.
Okay.
I will say Taylor Jenkins Reid was super supportive with She's Up to No Good, which was another very cool moment. Somebody had posted like both of our books in something, and I like did a story saying, you know, my book and her book are best friends. I can die happy now, something like that. And she commented, and that meant I could message her all of a sudden, which was crazy cool. And I was like, I'd love to send you a copy. And she did this whole post about it, which was very cool. And then that year that I was teaching, it was when Carrie Soto's back was coming out, and I had gotten an ad for a pair of Kate Spade shoes that had like a tennis ball for the heel. And I sent it to her, and I was like, you gotta wear these on book tour for Carrie Soto. Like, you have to get these shoes. And I was teaching my creative writing course. It was the first day of school, and I'm like doing all the intros, and I get a message on my watch, and I always glance at it because I got kids and I got to make sure they're not like throwing up everywhere at school or something. And it was Taylor Jenkins Reid responding. And I was like, hang on, guys, I got to go answer this. Taylor Jenkins Reid just messaged me. And they were like, she did not. And I like showed them on my phone, and they were like, oh, you're like a real author.
Wow.
And another fun like school moment, I was teaching one day, and a kid is sitting there reading a book. And like, while I'm happy she's reading a book, I'm like, we're doing a lesson here. I was like, Allie, put it away. And she holds it up, and it was my first book that she had checked out of our school library. And I was like, carry on.
Yeah. As you were.
That's
I
awesome.
blocked her face and took a picture of that because that was a cool moment.
That is a very cool moment.
But no, it still feels very surreal. Like, I've wanted this since I was 8 years old, and I think eventually I'll feel like it's real. We're not quite there yet.
I get that.
I totally get that. So what is your leaderboard name?
It is Sarah Good 11. So SARA, no H, GOOD 11, which was also my AIM screen name. I was thinking about that today.
If it ain't broke.
Apparently I'm not that creative. Yeah.
That just for future podcast interviews, probably not something an author should say. Like, I'm not that creative.
That's true. That's true. At least
I'm
when it
not
comes
that
to screen
creative, but
names.
please buy my book. Like, that's like those are working at cross purposes. So just a little tip from
All right,
the
for
marketing
screen
guy.
names,
in the
screen
room.
names. I go with the same thing every time.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. I am surprised you're not like Sara Confino, so everybody can find you. Or maybe you don't want to be found. Like, maybe you don't want that to the crossover. I don't know.
I mean, again, I signed up for it before anybody knew who I was. So I'm sort of sticking with it for now. I did change my Instagram name, which also used to be Sarah Good 11, but
So you've
I
branched
think that
out.
was my login for my first college email account too. Like, we're okay.
I understand.
I'm
Digging
so
deep
old.
here.
I'm so old. My login for my college email account was like my student ID number. It was like 94732 at blah blah blah.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with them. So
Well, no, like our student ID numbers were our social security numbers. So they made sure we didn't put that anywhere near our email addresses.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, God.
yeah, that makes sense. I'm old
That's when I
enough to
had to
remember.
learn my social security number.
I remember. I'm old enough to have pre-printed it on my checks.
Yeah. Remember that? Do you remember that? I remember that.
Everybody asked for it. You're like, just print it on the check.
I
and be
never
done
had
with
it on my check, but I remember I worked in a grocery store, and I know you did too, Tom,
Yeah.
but they still use them. People still had checks that had.
I remember the first time we were in the grocery store when I told somebody like, oh, I just need your social security number on a check. And they were like, I'm not giving that to you. And we're all like, what a nut job.
I remember that too.
Look at this wacko.
Now
Turns
you're like,
out
don't
they
put
were
it in your
right.
phone anywhere just in case.
Yeah.
We didn't have phones back then.
So do you have a preferred instructor?
I've got a few actually that I bounce between. It kind of depends on mood. So overall, Cody, because he's just hysterical and awesome. Also, I'm not a speed person. He isn't either, which is very helpful. Music-wise, I'm probably most closely aligned with Jen Sherman. I love her taste in music. I'm a huge Springsteen nut. My author bio is true. I have danced on stage at a show. And I'm going to try and recreate that actually at the coming up shows because I was wearing my Obama shirt in the pictures with him. And so I bought a sparkly Kamala shirt to try and see if we can recreate. So her music with like classic rock and everything, I'm very much into that. I've gotten into Bradley lately because one of my best friends from high school just got a bike because I wouldn't shut up about it. And so he got one too. And he was liking Bradley's got kind of more dad rock, which I do definitely listen to. And so he was doing those rides. And so I would, we'd kind of do the same rides together, not at the same time, but just to keep motivating each other. I like both Hannahs a lot. I kind of stumbled on Hannah Frankson, like by accident. I think I clicked the wrong person and I was like, all right, I'll try this. And the first ride I did of hers, she was not having a great day. And I was like, oh, what's wrong with her? Like, no, I don't like this at all. And then I tried another one and I was like, oh, she's kind of awesome. I like her a lot, actually. Leanne for arms. And I've done the Wicked ride more times than I care to admit with her. So yeah, my husband knows I'm having a bad day when he definitely hears me singing along to that from the basement.
That's a good way to have fun.
Yeah, so I do bounce around a little bit. I do like to mix it up. Gosh, who did I even do today? I think I did a Hannah Corbin ride today. I did. And yeah, it's sometimes music based, sometimes just whatever I feel like doing speed wise, and how tired I am that day, how much my 4-year-old let me sleep.
That makes
sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And some days you do need to, choose a ride by music. And some days you do need to choose a ride by your favorite or your mood or whatever. And I think it's good to have flexibility. And I also think it's good that you have a variety of people that are your go-tos.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah. And then when you're like searching one and you're like, all right, they don't have anything new. I've done all the stuff that I want to do with them. Like you can switch to somebody else and be like, all right, that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We greatly appreciate it. And before we let you go, remind everybody where they can find you in all the places, where they can get the books, which one you think they should start with, when it will be a show streaming on Peacock. Now, hang on.
That would
Streaming
be amazing.
on Netflix. We'll shoot for something better than Peacock.
I'm cool with Peacock, actually, because Tina Fey is my personal hero, and she is so closely aligned with NBC stuff. So if she wants to adapt something, Tina, I love you. I'm here. Like,
I'm really hoping she replaces Lorne Michaels.
That would be cool.
That would be amazing.
That really would.
I think she's the obvious choice. But yeah. So anyway, where can they find your stuff?
So I am on all the major social media platforms. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, all that stuff. Threads is the new one, of course. So it's just Sara Confino for Instagram and Threads, and Twitter, which I don't really use anymore because it's become the Wild West. So it's there. I check it sometimes, but I'm like afraid to type anything. Facebook, Sarah Goodman Confino. My books are pretty much everywhere these days. They are all standalone, so you don't need to read them in a specific order. But if you do go in publication order, which is For the Love of Friends, She's Up to No Good, Don't Forget to Write, into the new one, which is Behind Every Good Man, there are some fun Easter eggs. So like the grandmother from the first two pops up in all 5 books now, the one that I just finished today as well. Marilyn from Don't Forget to Write makes a cameo in Behind Every Good Man. The main character from Behind Every Good Man pops up in this 5th one that is tentatively titled Good Grief. And which is actually kind of funny because then 3 of my books will have the word good in the title. But
that's great. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll keep it or not. But they're available on Amazon. Target has them. Barnes & Noble has them. They're kind of everywhere. They're on Audible. And the narrator on the last 2 is actually fabulous. I adore her, Helen Laser. She's just wonderful. So
Well, good luck with the new career, being at home full time. That's awesome. And I hope that it goes just the way you want it to.
Thank you so much.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on all the socials and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. And we like you extra. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.
Clip in, set yourself free.